Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. And I'm your intrepid host, Mr. David Null, Hawkeye Two Feathers to some. And here I am in the middle of the night, kind of sort of 1:52 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, bringing up a subject that's like, okay, angel messages and so forth, going to keep me up to kind of put forth this topic. So I greet you with love, honor, blessings, respect to all of you. I thank you all so much. Humbled by every one of you who listen and pay any attention, and some of your comments are marvelously wonderful and humbling. So with that, I will go on. Now, I just did a Facebook video because there is someone that I needed to talk to about some things, and the title was basically, shame and guilt, and we need to be able to forgive ourselves. And in that, I was realizing there's something more to that message. It's not about just dealing with our own shame and our own guilt for being stupid in our this life or maybe a previous one, who knows, but for whatever reason that we're asking for forgiveness. Or like for me, I was a drug addict and alcoholic, and I realized that there were things that I was hiding, and that I was so good at hiding them that I was hiding them without realizing. So anytime I would get sober or whatever, I would find a reason to go get high or drunk again. Ooh, every day's a holiday was my motto. And in that, I spent a lot of time and a lot of regrets. I've I've not tried to hurt anybody intentionally. Oh, sorry about that. Um, but I'm sure that inadvertently I've hurt people over the years from just simply my drunken behavior, and that I could have been better. And so, if nothing else, I'm guilty of that at the very least. And I needed to be able to find in forgiveness with my own self. And so, what in my discussion on the Facebook video, and I've stated this before, but the creator asked me to continue this conversation here on YouTube, and it has to do with about, do you believe in the spiritual cosmic energies? Do you believe them 100%? And I've realized that there are people out there who I've listened to call-in shows and things like that, of people who are like, well, if you're going to send, calling in a psychic healer, for example, or something, and they're like, well, can you heal me? And the person was like, well, I'm working on you. I can see your aura, blah, blah, blah. And you have to accept and receive the healings from the universe. And so the person would say, okay, now I want you to say it, telling the caller, I accept and receive the healings from the universe. Well, then 2 weeks later, the same person calls back and they go, hey, you did this healing, but it didn't work on me. I don't feel shit. And it's like, to myself, I'm like, well, wait a minute, let's have a little discussion about that. Now, the discussion that I'm having about this is the fact that I went through a very similar type of situation. I have looked at it, I understood it, I understand the quantum energies, maybe not as deeply as some other people do, but a lot more deeply than a lot of people do. So, but to the point, I get it, I get the gist of it enough, and understanding in a cosmic kind of way, in a cosmic energy kind of way. But I realized that when I made that statement, though, about accept and receive the healings from the universe, and I'm listening to the other person. So the second time this caller called into this show, and I won't mention any names, but it's out on YouTube and around. And the person called in, the caller, and was like, well, I called you 2 weeks ago and this stuff isn't working. And what should I do? I need another healing. And so the healer said, the reason you're not healed is because you don't believe it. And the person on the other line, the caller, was like, well, wait a minute. We got very indignant. Well, yes, I do. And the healer person was very kind and said, but you see, you called up a second time after I already sent healing to you. Now you call me 2 weeks later and want to argue why it didn't work. And when I tell you why it didn't work, you wish to say, no, it's wrong. I do believe. Then why aren't you healed? And the caller was like, but I believe it. Trying to make excuses. And I thought to myself, yeah, okay, what is in that? And the healer was very calm and said, you're almost believe, but not quite. And I thought to myself, what? And the healer said, you believe it, but you still have skepticism. And the caller was like, well, what do you mean? Well, I think it'll work. And that was the whole point. The caller said, I think it will work versus I know it will work. So the healer said back to the caller, do you understand what you just said? And the caller was like, I think so. And so the healer repeated, he said, you just told me that you think it will work. You have to believe it 100%. You have to allow the healing without any interference from your own self. Oh, crap. Now, as I'm listening, now I'd never called into this program, but I'd listened off and on for many years. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I have accepted these healings. Why hadn't it healed me? Because the person said, if you're out there listening, say these things and say to yourself and say out loud and and I was like, okay, but I don't feel nothing. Because I too had skepticism. Well, I think it's going to work. Well, it should work. But there was a little bit of me that said, when I see it work, I'll know it did. That was, I hesitated. So did the caller. They hesitated. Well, I think it should have worked, I guess. Well, no, if you guess, then you don't know. So in my Facebook video of earlier this evening, right after 12 o'clock, actually, but anyway, I realized in that discussion that this discussion needs to go into the transition box, if you will, on how we're going to transition and make the transition. Oh, and by the way, just saying, a lot of other videos now on YouTube and other places and other radio stations, etc., are now starting to use the word transition instead of ascension. Oh my. Just saying. I feel proud about that and humbled. Now, this is what I mean by this. If you don't understand the healing and accept it 100.1%, your chances of being healed are at risk, because there is whatever it is within you that is not allowing it to fully enter and heal you. Now, I keep using myself as an example, but I'm here to tell you, a year and a half ago, I was using the words. Well, it's more than a year and a half ago, but it was a year and a half ago about that I realized that what this person said. Do you understand this 100%? Do you believe 100%? And I kept saying, well, yeah, I think. And as soon as I said, I think, I realized I wasn't really truly believing. I understood it all and everything, but it was that tiny little bit, that hesitation within myself. And so as I visit other channels and I listen to other chats and things and so forth, and I stay open for awareness of what's going on with other people. And I can see that there are folk who are still searching for that belief. Well, something's going to come along and heal me. Well, but it's already there. Did you accept it? Well, I think I did. Well, if you think you did, then you didn't. I'm just saying, because I've been there, okay? And I'm saying this because this is the conversation I had in my head several times, because I kept saying, well, did I believe it 100% that time? And if you're going to question it, then you haven't. That's what I realized with my own self. I realized, oh crap, I'm questioning my own self. Did I think this really happened? Did I think that, holy crap, wait a minute, hang on. Somewhere in my own self, there was a smidgen, a little comma in a sentence that was throwing off the healing because it was not a 100 and what I call 100.1%. You got to go that extra added little bit. And you say, I believe it. No, I mean, I really believe it. No, really, I believe it. Not just, yeah, I believe it. I think. Can't hesitate. We cannot hesitate. Now, during this transitional phase versus ascension, I mean, I'm looking out there at some of these YouTube videos, and it's like all of a sudden, a bunch of people are using the word transition. It wasn't out there a month ago. Nobody was talking about, transition. I was bringing it up, trying to help folks, hey, let's talk about ascension here. Let's talk about the transition, not ascension. We will achieve ascension through the transition, but okay. But I'm humbled and bewildered, quite frankly, that some of these other channels that got 200 300K subscribers are like catching up to what I've been talking about for the last month at least about transition. So it's not a pat on the back to me. It's like, oh, thank you. Everybody else is on board now. Everybody else must have received the message. Now, in my own personal life, I think to myself, weren't they listening? Was I privy to information that they didn't get? Because I've had my visits with extraterrestrials. I've had conversations. I've got pictures of the blue sphere orby things in Ohio and other things that have transpired. I mean, an orb showed up on a live video stream that I did a couple of times, actually. So it's like those things that I talk about. And there was something last night that appeared on the screen. I was like, what the hell? It showed up as a moth in the background, and there wasn't any moth, by the way. So I'm being visited by spiritual entities, beings, whatever you want to call them, and they're different types. But the thing is that until I accepted that 100%, not almost, well, maybe I guess I think, nah. When I stopped hesitating, when I went ahead and said, if there's a hesitation in me, I want you to go away. I want to believe this 100% because I realize I'm holding myself back. So in the last 10 months, there has been healing that I've described. The arthritis in my hands is going away. My left leg that was broken playing football, I have more motion in it than I have in the last, honest to God, 50 years it's been since I broke my leg and I wasn't able to bend it or walk or anything. It's improving. It shouldn't be. I mean, I'm supposed to have knee surgery. At 66, I would have sworn that by now I would have had knee surgery. Other people I know that didn't have the accident I did have had knee surgery. And here I am having one of the worst knee accidents you could ever have on a limb. And I'm walking better now than I did 50 years ago. What the hell is going on? Because I believe 100% now. And these healings are taking place. Proof to me, but in that I had to have faith in the faith I already had. Quartz, hi, how are you? Blessings. And so I had a wonderful discussion with my daughter tonight. I haven't talked to her in well over a year. Oh my God, it was lovely to have a conversation with her. And some of these things came out. And I told her, I said, the hesitation that we as human beings, and she was agreeing with me that when you understand it 100%, when that faith is so strong in you in these core value things, that, oh my God, the blessings and the healings that truly happen. And it's like, but, I believe they could happen. No, you got to believe they will happen and that they do happen, that they are happening. You have to put it in the present and future tense. not past. Well, I think maybe, nah. If you're still thinking maybe, you're not there. But, and I say this with all due respect to everyone, because I kept doing it to my own self. And so this is a giant leap. That last 1% in this belief of the cosmic energies is a big one, because you really must believe 100%. You can't be dogging out a little bit here. You can't be sloughing off to the side. It must be a perfect 100.1%. I mean, you got to be there. But when you do, there are benefits there. And I'm just living proof. Yeah, I'm uglier than crud, you know. I'm one of the Lee brothers, ugly, homily, and, you know, never mind. But to the point. But with that said, though, I find it important that I need to just do this short, quick video, if I can do one, that just go back over your own mind, go back into your own self. If you're not getting healed, if you don't feel these cosmic energies, do you really believe they exist? Do you believe you can be healed by them? I mean, there are levels of this belief. Number one, they're real. I just checked again on the Schumann resonance. The earth is getting bombarded. I mean, it's literally off the charts some more. Okay. So all those folks who want to say, well, yeah, this and nah, just watch the Schumann resonance if you can, and understand that what's happening to Mother Earth is happening to us. You might as well accept it, because the proof is there. It's physically, visibly here now. Okay. Next thing. Otherwise, the Schumann resonance wouldn't be doing, Mother Earth wouldn't be doing what she does. So, but anyway, so number one, accept that these energies are here. The next thing is, can they heal me? I don't know. Well, if you believe in the divine at all, and I don't mean a God, but just in source, in the energy of the universe, can you believe in that? Is there a source out there that we are all a part of? Can you believe in that? Well, some people call it the God spark or the God thing, or okay. If you got to drag religion into this, okay, fine. But I keep saying this is about spirituality. It has nothing to do with religion. Religion can help you get spirituality, but religion is not going to give you spirituality. It can help you to attain it, but you're going to have to take that giant leap of faith on your own. Even as a Catholic, they made us believe, do you believe that God can? Well, yeah, I don't know. See, I never really did. Now, I believe that there was a God, but they were telling me crap in the Catholic Church that I still don't, glad I didn't believe that or had faith in it. So it was when I started questioning some of these things that I had to check on my own faith. And the faith was, after all these years, do I have faith in the source energy of the cosmos, of the universe? I understood it. I understood it was there. I've seen it. I've tripped on it. I've been out there. I've been taken out of body and visited places. Then why don't I believe it 100%? Whatever that hesitation had to do with this 3D body, had to do with this meat sack. It had to do with all of us humans are hesitant to believe in some of these spiritual things. So it was just human nature that was holding me back. But I was convinced of all these other things. And so therefore, because I had studied the science, I understood the quantum and these other things, been shown all these things over there. Okay, fine. But there was still a little bit of hesitancy. And that's what kept me from it. So now I see people, spiritual people, who are almost there. And it's that 100.1% acceptance. It's not like, oh, I'm allowing Jesus into my heart. No, we ain't. We're just talking good cosmic, sure enough energy. Not talking about demons or the negative side, because we wouldn't allow that in us anyway. It would have to creep in us and take over us. But to the point, if we believe in the positive energy, then we already know that the devil can't come into us. But do we believe that 100%? And I'm seeing people, as I've discussed, I think they're stuck on the red road. Now, that's just my personal opinion. But after 3 or 4 years, you'd think that some of these people would get off of what they're still talking about 3 or 4 years later and understand these true feelings of the universe. They keep talking around it when they are still questioning, well, I'm not sure if the cosmos. Well, wait a minute. You were my guru 4 years ago. You turned me on to certain things, and I love you for that. But why are you still questioning if it's real or not? Wait a minute. I thought you already did. And so it's almost like a Mandela effect in some ways. Some of these folks that I thought were like, you get it because you helped teach me about this yourself, but they're still stuck. And I realize the reason they're stuck is they haven't accepted it 100%. They got most of the information. They've got it, but they haven't put their individual faith into the source itself. Whatever's holding them back, whatever that little baby is, that's what's got them stuck. And I've realized now this isn't a competition. I keep talking about this. It's not about a competition of who's further down the red road or who's closer to enlightenment. It ain't about that. But you can see when somebody's stuck. If they're still talking about the same stuff 4 years later and haven't made any inroads already, and they're literally stuck. I mean, it's like I'm still hearing the same words. Now I know I repeat myself, but I'm trying to make a point. These folks are like stuck. They're just that's the same topic over and over and over. And but without any insight to move ahead. I keep looking for more insight to say, well, how else can I help somebody else make this journey? Is there something that I can see that's, because I look at things differently? How can I bring this into the picture to say, well, somebody over here, like, for example, I learned something about my granddaughter tonight. I'm not going to talk about here, but to the point it was like it prompted me to put my thoughts in a different way and to put my prayers towards my granddaughter in a much different light. It's always been a loving light. It's always been with source, but now that I have more information, I can focus my intent in my prayers with her. So it's like when you have more information, but the thing is that I had to have faith in what I already knew. I had to have faith that I could make a difference in my granddaughter's life. I had to have faith that despite all of these nasty things around her, there was a salvageable person within my granddaughter. I know I've said too much already, but to the point, it's like I saw a picture of my granddaughter on Facebook, and I could tell in her face something's changed. It's subtle. And her mother didn't notice it when she saw the picture. And I said, go back, look at the picture. Look at her face. There's a change. Look at the picture she took a year ago. Different. Her face is different. She's more grown up now. She's received some kind of wisdom. She's got an understanding she has now she didn't have a year ago. And it shows on her face. Oh my gosh. And of course, my daughter had been with her daughter, my granddaughter, and, had not seen the changes because they were up close and personal. And so, but me not having that, I was able to see the change from the picture. I may have noticed anyway, but to the point though, it's that 100% yes, it will happen. Yes, it can happen. Now, if you say can, you say, well, yes, it can happen. And some might say, well, we can pick this apart. You can say it will happen. Well, we never know if certain things will happen because the universe is big and mighty and there's a lot of other crap in the way. So I can say this can happen with my granddaughter, provided she believe in these things and blah, blah, blah. So, certain criteria has to be met. Can I say with certainty that it will happen? Well, I can say with certainty, I'm going to do my part, but can I say what I will do will affect her and will it make a difference in her life? I can't be sure of that. but I can say that it can change her and change her life and give her more positive to deal with the things that she's dealing with, and that Grandpa D can still send prayers, and more specifically, now that I understand her situation more. So those prayers now from me will be, hopefully, and can be, and at least will be, from my input and my, oh, I lost the word, compassion and my intuition. And that's, I'm still dancing around the word I need, but anyway, it's my intent. I knew it started with an I. But anyway, so with my intent, so with my positive intent, I know that I can help change things. In fact, because of some of these positive things, there has been a change, although it hasn't been what we would like it to have been, even for my granddaughter. But she is better and things are better, but still work to be done. But the thing is that now we can all work on it. Now she understands more about this source and that this energy is available. And now, where she might have been only 25% there, she's more than 50% there now, because other wisdoms and realizations came alive within her. So we can work with that. Can it change? Absolutely. Will it change? Time will show. So each one of us, our intent, I keep talking about that. I know I keep repeating that word. Our intent is important. My intent to help my granddaughter overcome the things that she's overcoming is that I will do these things. I can say that on my own part. Will it change her life? I'm not sure. Can it change her life? Absolutely. So, but those are both positives. Now, can it help her? That's the maybe in this. She has to accept it. That's where her faith comes in. If she believes that the things that we can discuss will help her, then she's already there. It will still take time when things are involved and the situation is very. Delaney Pearl Jones, blessings. And so when I think about my granddaughter, and other people too, this isn't just for her, but specifically, this is what prompted this. I realize that there are people out there that are missing that 1% to full throttle belief in the cosmos and the source and so forth. Leaving God and religion out of this, I keep saying it because it's interfering with the reception. Bottom line. Sure, read your Bible if you need to. I still pick it up and at times and read passages. But if you're relying on it, if you think that's the only way you're going to achieve it, then you're still missing part of the story. You're still missing part of the boat here. There's a hole in your boat, you just don't know it. But the thing is that understand that even if you must say the word God, it's always there. Now, my source, the creator, is always there. It's always available. When you believe it 100%, when you accept it 100%, it's there. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do the sign of the cross like Catholics do. You don't have to light a candle. You just must simply say and mean it with your soul. I accept and receive the blessings of the universe. That's all it requires. It sounds so frickin' simple. Take the word out of our vocabulary. Which word? Which word, Rick and Delaney? Oh, take the R word. I don't have my glasses on. I saw it. Take the R word. Got it. Yes. It's okay. I keep telling people if many of my friends are devout Catholics still after all these years of me basically cursing them for supporting a pedophile organization, but they're still Catholic. But to the point though, it's like, but they don't know. They are so scared of their own spirituality that they can't step away from it. They can't step away from religion. Their faith is so flimsy in the spirit of their angel self, of their own God, actually, that they can't see God for the religion. And well, I got to do this, and Catholics are bad about penance. Oh, oh, I spoke too loudly and I embarrassed my sister. Oh, I got to do penance. Say two Our Fathers and a Hail Mary and blah. And you're blessed, my son. Oh, everything needs penance. We're always asking, Catholics are always asking for forgiveness. When was the last time you went to confession? Well, I don't know. Did you do anything wrong? Well, I don't know. But before I go eat his body and drink his blood, I got to go confess to this pedophile priest in a little square box in the dark. Okay, that's my religion for you. Yeah, let's go do that. You can believe in that, but you can't believe in the soul source and the creator. You can believe in this man-made stuff, but you can't believe in the source of all things, even the source who created your God, by the way. So, but anyway, I'm jesting slightly, but not. I'm picking on some folk, and I'm thinking of some of I graduated from Tampa Catholic High School in 1970. So I've got classmates and other underclassmates and people I've known. So yeah, I was a Catholic. So, and I have every right to speak what I do, by the way. I have plenty of experience in this. But to the point, though, it's not about religion. It is about the spirituality. But even people who are filled with the Spirit, many of them I see and that I've spoke about, that it looks like they're stuck on the road to enlightenment. They're on it. And some of them, I think, are walking backwards towards the light because they're focused too much on what the past was. Well, am I Inky or was it Enlil or was it, Wood Scroll? Oh, cut it out. That's really good information and stuff, but you're all focused in the past. Turn around. Look for the light. Look towards the light. Look over your shoulder at the past. But don't be walking backwards towards the light, for God's sake. And I'm meaning enlightenment, not that light that might steal our souls. But to the point, though, but folks are still like they still don't believe it's there. Well, oh, yeah. And they talk about the source and they talk about this. But then when you really listen to them, there is hesitancy in their voice. Well, I should have been healed by now. Well, some things take time. Well, but if you're questioning the healing, well, yes, I accept it. There you go. It's there. Is it going to heal me tomorrow? I don't know. Don't really care because I accept it. What timeline is it on? I don't know. Don't care, but I accept it. Maybe it takes a couple of weeks for some of this healing to come in. Okay. It's taken since the first of the year since I really 100% understood what I was omitting, and that was that 0.1%. I started healing. I've talked about, I've had 3 operations on my neck. It's supposed to be one fused thing. I'm not supposed to be able to turn my head back and forth. Period. There's a scar right there. 3 times they went in. The last time, the bottom one failed. Okay. I'm supposed to go like this, not turn my head by itself. That's not supposed to happen. I'm fused with bone. I'm not supposed to be able to twist my neck. What's going on? Well, I don't know. I don't want them to x-ray me anymore to find out what it is, because the thing is, I can turn my head without turning my shoulders. I had the first operation in 1985, and then another one in 86, and then another one in 88. So it's like, I've been through this crap. I've been x-rayed. They filled my, spine with so much poisonous dye and crap, I should be dead from all that shit. And some of that stuff might be having an effect on me now. I understand that there's some of these dyes and stuff they put in people for the old MRIs and the old CT scans and stuff. They're literally, so these folks have died for some of this stuff. They almost killed me when they gave it to me back in the day. It was horrible. That might be the reason for some of my issues with falling asleep for so long. Maybe I still have a leak in my spine because it gives you headaches and you're disoriented and all these things that go with it. Been there. I've had 7 serious incidents with the operations on my neck having to do with dye in my spine and the leakage thereof. And I mean, it almost literally almost killed me. They had to drag me to the hospital and put me in intensive care for 2 days to get my electrolytes back up. I've been there, done this shit, you know? And so turning my head without my shoulders is a healing. Proof. There's the scar. I still got x-rays. So it's like, until I accepted it, I never expected my neck to be healed. I never expected my knee to get better after 50 years of being broken, and never expected these healings. And it's without pain meds. Mostly. I'm off of, I used to take 25 pills a day that were pain related, mental, all kinds of stuff. Now I take 1 aspirin, 2 of these tramadol kind of thingies, a Benadryl, and I take this is 3 times a day. 1 aspirin 3 times a day. I used to take 3 aspirins 3 times a day on a regular basis. Now I take 1 3 times a day. Have I cut my pain meds down? Yeah. Do I still hurt? Sure. But I was taking so many drugs, it was affecting my brain and the rest of my life and everything else. And it was blocking the healing. I firmly believe, because it's been almost a year. Next month will be a year since I've been to the doctor. And I used to go on a monthly basis, sometimes twice a month. And I'm almost off every single one of those doctor's medications, over the counter stuff now. Am I healing? Something's going on. Have I been to anybody and had holy water splashed on me or anything? No. The healing has come because I believe 100%. That's it. Has nothing to do with religion. Source is right up there around me all the time. Do you accept it, Dave? Yes, I do. How much do you accept, Dave? 99.9, or are you going to believe that 100%? Are you going to remove the doubt within yourself? I raised my head and said, please help me erase that doubt. I've meditated. Please make sure that doubt is out of me. I got all the information. If there's a doubt in me, show me what it is so I can work on it and trash that SOB and get him out. I want it out of me. I want that 100%. And when I did that extra little bit of work, and lo and behold, it was just a little bit of humanness still left. Well, I think it was that little bit of hesitancy. And then I went, oh shit. And greater things are happening, not just to me, but to other people. And so when I spoke with my daughter tonight, we had a wonderful conversation. Blessings to her, my dear. Oh my gosh. I miss him so much. I have to give, cosmic hugs instead of flesh and blood hugs, but that's okay. I understand. But she gave me one of the greatest compliments, and she goes, Pops, she goes, I've noticed you started making videos on Facebook. She hasn't seen the ones on YouTube yet. And I was like, yeah. She goes, I started listening to you. And she goes, I'm sorry I haven't called you, but business and everything. She said, but I get to hear your voice. I get to hear the wisdom that I hear coming from your soul, Pops. When I listen to you, I understand, and so do other people. You're speaking from your soul. You are opening yourself up in ways I never would have done on public, on a Facebook or whatever. And you're telling the world, you're opening up to the world and showing people your insides, everything, when sometimes in great detail. And she goes, and I honor you for that. And I was like, my daughter just said that? And I was crying. I mean, I was crying. I couldn't speak. I was choked up. And she goes, Pops, I just want to tell you, I can see where you have done good with these discussions that you have. Because I'm always doubting in my own self. Is this worth it? I see your conversations over here, and I thank you so much, and I do. But, I'm here to help everybody. I want us all to make this ascension deal by going through the transition. See, I used the A word before I used the T word. but to the point, though, it's like, but I have to, because I had to ask myself that tough question. I see people are like, well, why aren't I healed? And I ask them when I can, and with a very positive question, and I mean this because I love you. Do you really believe that 100%? Well, yeah, I do. What way? Hang on. Don't get defensive with me, because if you're getting defensive with me when I'm just asking you with all the love and honor that I possibly can, if you get your hackles rackled, because, well, yeah, I understand. Well, sure, there's something in there that ain't. Because the first sign that you don't believe 100% is you defend your base. That's what I really believed or have received, and then believed too, because I was like, well, yeah, I do believe. But when the question was asked to me, do you believe 100%? And I said, well, I think I do. And wrong answer. So these other folks that I've asked this very calmly, and I ask all of you with all the compassion and honor and respect, because I had to go through this myself. And I've seen other people, and people are struggling with it this very moment. Do you believe that 100%? Or do you think you do? There is a difference. And it's the difference between literally life and death, meaning in that the death will come because you're still hedging. You're still hedging, excuse me, hiccups. You're still hedging the answer. You're still hedging your own bet. You're still, I think I do. Well, then you're not sure. So until you can say positively, yep, I believe. And at first, you might kind of have to like have a shitload of faith, because at first it's like, I got to make sure that when I say 100%, I mean it. And there was a short time at the very beginning of my 100% belief, I was like, I think I might be faking it. I was like, I say this every day. I say this prayer. I accept and receive. Yes, I do. 100%. You sure? Yes. And then later on the day, I'll go, you said 100%. Are you sure you meant it? And I was like, oh, come on, stop this shit. But the mind plays these little tricks on us that keep us from that 100%. And until you do this wishy-washy nonsense on the inside of your own brain and in your soul and in your heart, until you look at those stupid little remarks and go, hang on, how many times have I said, I think I do? Or I think I can. I think I can. Well, I know I can. Which would you rather say? Well, I think maybe. Well, that's an uncertainty. Which would you rather do? Say, I know I can. I can do it. Not think I can. I can do it. Take the word think out. I can do this. I will do this. Now, the will do it is like, well, maybe. Now, I know that I will say prayers for my granddaughter. I can say that with certainty. Can it affect her? It can. Will it affect her? Not positive. So understand these little slight differences. Now, my intent is, yes, it can help her. My additional prayer that's going to kind of be pushing the intent of the first prayer is, it will happen. It will affect her. It will change her in a good way. Drug addiction's bad for any of us. I've dealt with it, discussed it. We'll probably talk about it again in the future, because the question of suicide has come back up again. And that is a subject that I spent 40 years trying to do, commit suicide. So I have a lot of experience in it, and hangings, and anyway, drug overdoses and stuff. And that needs to be brought back up, but in another video. But to the point, yes, I've spoke about it before, but the issue of suicides and people committing them, and they're losing their faith in anything. It's not just religion. Well, religion failed me. So they've got all this information, but they don't 100% believe in the cosmic energy. They don't 100% believe, well, people say it can, well, maybe it will. Or so with all this doubt, ain't no way they can get it, because they're focused on the doubt. Well, I prayed, but I'm not. As soon as you said the word "but," I prayed, but And that's speaking in the negative. Already you're now like, well, there it goes. You're doubting it. Well, but I'm not sure. But I don't know if they said it right. Well, this religion of non-religion that I speak about, the religion of non-religion called spirituality, this energy's always there. So there's no magic words. There is no prayer except to say and believe it within your own self. I accept and receive these blessings from the universe. I accept and receive 100% the healings from source, from creator, from whatever God you may believe in. But you don't even have to go that way. Just accept and receive it. Period. So just say those words. And the law of three works real well. When you say it three times, and for me, I try to say at least three times a day, but at the same time, I try to say it three times a day. So three times three is nine. Well, 369, that's magic numbers. But anyway, in the scheme of the universe, Tesla numbers, okay. But anyway, but the thing is 100%. And if folks want to give you grief about it, or if you ask someone, I heard this crazy guy talking about this 100% thing. And I had to ask myself, do you really believe it 100% yourself? And watch somebody else's reaction. Because every time I bring it up, and I mean it with honest compassion and honor to everyone, you got this 100%? Well, then I listen to another video or they're in a chat room or something, and there's doubt. And so I go back to them and I ask them the same question. Okay, now it's been a few weeks or whatever. Do you believe in 100% now that you have more information? Well, I think blah, blah. Well, Enki and Enlil, oh, Jesus Christ, would you stop with that shit already? Okay, you obviously the past is more important than where you are at present and where you hope to be in the future. Because if you're still focusing on 3,000 years ago, you're not moving forward. You may be on the path to enlightenment, but you're standing still. Period. That's all there is to it. And it's not a judgment call, but you are, because you're not accepting this healing 100%. You're more worried about, well, I'm not sure. I need more background information. I need to read more about Enlil and Emerald Green tablets. Wait a minute, but what's that got to do with you accepting source right now? In your life, right this moment, what's stopping you? Well, I don't have enough information. Well, yeah, you do. It's there, up there. It's around us. Okay, look at the satellite images. You can see the magnetism. You can see all these cosmic rays. Duh, it's out there. All these cosmic energies are there. They're proven by science. Now, are you going to accept and receive them? Well, I don't know. I got to find out if Enki or Enlil was. I'm not sure if I'm a Draco or not. Would you stop it, please? You're missing the point. You're making excuses to move forward. Well, sacred tablets are all really cool to study and all, but too many people aren't looking forward. Let me go consult the tablets again. Hang on. You got enough information here, and I'm going to ask you the damn same stupid question again. Do you believe 100% now today? I went back to Enlil. I went back to the tablets. I went back and I went back into the Sumerian. Yeah. Do you believe now anymore? Well, I don't know. I have to do more studying in the past. They're missing the boat. It's right dead in front of them. But they are walking backwards on the road to spirituality, or on the road of spirituality, let me say, because they're on the road, but they're not looking forward. So it's like, yes, it's all great. My daughter and I were talking about it tonight, as a matter of fact, about the Bible. And she goes, I read the New Testament. And I said, good. And I said, I read the New Testament as well. And I said, and I was told, and I was, by priest, by the way, many years ago, who left the church, by the way, and by Sister Helene of Tampa Catholic, that forget the Old Testament. It's a good read. It's a nasty bastard God who's vengeful and hateful and smotes people and asks people to kill in his name and all that stuff. And Jesus came, he said, "No, I am here to be the savior for all sins past and future." So when religion, excuse me, I got the hiccups. So the religion tells us we must be baptized because we are born into sin. Well, that's the first lie every single Christian religion tells us, because Jesus already died. He already saved us. So the religions are lying to us. Well, Dave, you were baptized a Catholic, but you backslid. And so if you're truly, reborn again, well, wait a minute, I didn't die the first, but anyway, you must be baptized under the Baptist church if you want to become. You have to be rebaptized. Well, hang on, y'all are still missing this. Jesus died for all our sins in the future, which means my sins are already forgiven me if I believe what you're trying to shove down my throat. Well, yeah, but you got to be baptized. Wait, hang on. Hang on. I was already baptized in one church, but now you're saying that church wasn't good enough and I got to be baptized in your church, but you're still missing the point. Jesus died for our sins. So if I'm just born into this world, there is no original sin. You religious idiots made it up to try to make me feel bad and to steal my frickin' soul. So whatever your baptism rites are, you're trying to cleanse me of something I didn't do. How can I be dirty? I was just born. Well, you came into this world and the world of sin, the original sin. Jesus died for it. That's what you're trying to tell me. That's what Christianity's about. He died on the cross for our sins. Then how can you tell me that you got to baptize me? Because now I have original sin. Oh, stop it. They're blaspheming to me and to you. So this religious thing, well, then you must be baptized in the blood. Stop it already with this baptism thing. If you want to believe in Christianity, then believe that Christ died for your sins. You're already saved. You just have to accept the healing from the universe, from the Father, if you will. It's not about a God. It's about the greater good, if you will. So what do these Christian religions want to shove down my throat now? They want me to give up this idea of spiritualism. They say, well, but where's your Bible, Dave? Where's your teachings? Where's your writing? Well, read Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Peter, stay away from Paul because he was Saul, and we needed to stay out of that. But to the point, though, sure, I read what Christ did. I read about the miracles. I read about his preachings and teachings. Yes, I believe that. But I also read Buddha, and I also read some Hindu, and I also read about this and that and the other thing. I've also read a few science fiction books that the writer must have been endowed with godly verses, because some of the text in some of these fictional books are like more closer to any God than any religious book I ever read, because it's one person speaking from the heart to and from the universe, and it gets put into paper in a way that it's a sci-fi thing, but yeah, they're talking about energy and the creator and the God spark, and so it's not a Bible, but listen to the word. These words from this writer are very compelling and very intriguing and very insightful, and maybe we should believe some of this. He's not telling us to believe in any religion. He's telling us to believe in ourselves, in our own spiritualness. Oh my God. So how is this fictional writer any better or worse than what Saul wrote? Well, I find some of the things that Saul wrote just downright, should be ripped out of the Bible, but my personal opinion. But so that all of us, even in some of the things I've said, other people have made mention to me. Wow, that was really inspirational, Dave. Well, I hope so. I prayed on it for 3 weeks. and I was praying for guidance that it would come out that way. And I'm a humbled servant. I am still a humble servant, and will continue to be a humble servant because this is my lot. I now understand. And when I had this conversation with my daughter, we both agreed that the Old Testament needs to get thrown out. Too many people are relying on the Old Testament now for what Christ tried to teach us was about our future. So who gives two craps what Daniel said? Well, okay, fine. But what did Jesus say many years after that, and what he said to profess and for future reference? That's where we need to be at. We need to be at this place now where we will accept and receive with 100.1% faith, belief, understanding, whatever it is, that this energy exists always. It is in each one of us. And there is no magical kind of anything we need to do to receive it, except we should receive it and accept it 100% within our own beings. A lot of words for something as simple as I accept and receive the healings, the wisdom, and the teachings of the universe. Wow. That's a simple prayer. Wow. And it covers a bunch of stuff. Now, if you want to make a prayer for someone or to someone, okay. But for the point of what do I need from God? That. Do I need to kneel down and pray? No, because I'm kneeling in my heart. I'm kneeling with devotion in here. Do I need to physically kneel down? Well, but that's what they teach us. They don't teach us to kneel down in our own heads. I had to learn that one on my own. But with the help from other people and insight from other folk and a lot of internal work and meditation and soul work, etc. But I realized that I can do the kneeling in my head because I can't physically kneel a lot of times because of my age and my knee, which is getting better. But to the point, though, it's like kneeling before the presence of the Lord. In my humble opinion, means in my heart, I have such respect for the Spirit, for Creator, that I am humbled before Creator and the Source. And that is my kneeling. Because if I go before Creator with an arrogant tone, well, I know you're there, and I know you're going to heal me, and I know all this stuff, and sorry. Because that is not kneeling before the Lord. That's not kneeling or paying homage or homage or the honor or the respect that is necessary. In my heart, I'm already kneeling because I understand this is a greater source of energy for all beings, and I am humbled before it. Do I need to physically kneel down? No, because if you understand the source, I am already humbled. I am already kneeling. The source energy understands the compassion in my heart. It's all about frequency. So there's already this transmission of these feelings of me paying homage. In certain cultures and so forth, like the Japanese, they bow. It's in respect. It's not that this person's higher or lower, although, but if one person bows to another, it's like, I respect you. Thank you very much. I honor you, your presence, my presence. Thank you. So when I bow to Creator, I'm giving reverence and reference to my compassion, to my heart, and to my soul. And that's what I wish to convey to other people. So I'm already kneeling. I don't have to do it. I don't have to, flail myself and draw blood, as the Catholics was like to make you believe in other religions that you have to do all this penance and all this. Arr. No, if you have true compassion, if you truly honor and adore the supreme source of all things, that is everything and all, it's not a person or a being. When you can accept it and receive it, all this knowledge and understanding just it comes with the territory, and so does the healing. As my leg, neck, hand, so forth. I was the arthritis in my hands was getting so bad. This one particular finger has still got that arthritis that makes your bones stick up, but my knuckles were sticking up. Rheumatoid arthritis. And I was like, it was getting really bad. I mean, my knuckles were so bad I couldn't bend my fingers right. And now it's like, it's gone. It's going away. This is the worst knuckle that I got left now, and it's going away. And the pain in my knuckles. Wait a minute now. All I did was say, I accept and receive 100% the healings from the universe. That's it. That's it. So, my continued prayer for everyone, I made it to an hour. How about that? Quantum, Rich Delaney. I do agree with Leviticus. Those are the sexual laws. See, if you understand the law of one, do no harm to any being, everything else is immaterial. Because the all of this stuff, well, this and that and blah, 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 forget it. There's still going to be people that want to have sex with a goat, for God's sake. But it's in the Bible, oh, come on. Oh, it was in some. Forget about it. The thing is that we need to look for the future. Too many people looking backwards. Well, this has got to do with, well, wait a minute. What if in the future, this whole idea of sexuality, what if it went to such a higher plane that the sex issue literally disappeared? It's like, well, two people could have pleasure together. Well, but is that sex? Well, I don't know. Well, but the thing is that our parameters are changed. Our parameters will change. What beings do for pleasure on another planet might seem vulgar to us on this planet. I mean, the people who followed the Kama Sutra, who still do, but if you're a Catholic, there's only one way. There's only the missionary position. That's it. If you bend over or flip sides, well, you just committed a sin. And so all this is just like, to me, it's just more nonsense. You can believe it and do what you want. And it's like, okay, but they still go, well, I still have to believe this part. Well, see, then you're not believing in the true source. You got to let go of this stuff because it was man-made. We have to believe in the spirit and what we can create for the future. Now, I can't tell you what it is. I can say that it's going to be better. But for those of us who wish to follow the one rule of do no harm to any other being, then no other law. I've been through different laws and stuff in the Bible and stuff. I can't find anything that isn't covered under that one rule. Do no harm. If two people consent to doing something weird, then it's not wrong. If you both consented. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about baby raping and stealing. Well, she consented. I know she's only 4, but she said, okay. No, I don't mean that. I mean, two consenting adults want to go out somewhere and do some kind of, pretzel thing. Fine. If it's between two adults, two consenting and everything else, then what's the sin in it? What is it that did they harm anyone? Was anyone harmed in it? Now, if a husband leaves his wife or has got a mistress and she leaves her and well, that's harming someone. So, but if there are two single adults who wish to do whatever and it is not harmful to, even if it is to the other person, if they agree to it and they got a safe word, but to the point, it's like we worry too much about the sex thing and there are too many kinky things on this planet. If sex were just allowed in normal circumstances, oh, her dress is too short. Oh, her boobs are showing. Oh, there's so much crap that goes on with it. If all this other societal stuff was taken away and it was just left up to two individual human grown-up adults to do what they wanted to in private, the rest of this, it makes no, because if anyone is harmed during it's the whatever these two people do together, it could be that they just roll around in jello. It doesn't matter. If it's enjoyable to the two of them, then so be it. But if it injures anyone, if someone is involved somewhere and their feelings could get hurt, then the act is wrong. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter what it is. But if someone else is being cheated on or something, whatever the deal is, that's the harm in there. Now, does it mean that the other guy knows? Well, she's cheating on her husband. Does he know that? Well, I went out with a lady. I didn't know that she was married. And I was like, when I found out, I broke it off. But at the time, I was like, oh, shit. For the last 2 months, I've been sleeping with a married woman. Damn it, man. I swore I'd never do that. Well, but she lied to me. So, but I could change it as soon as I found out the truth. But to the point, did I sin for those 2 or 3 months that I was with her before I found out she was married? Well, technically, yeah, but I didn't know. But I was the other party in the involvement, and I was sort of to blame, but it was her deception to me. So she harmed me by the deception. She harmed her husband by the deception. And the act of what we did together was the third harm. Okay. So, but it was covered. It didn't matter what we did under the sheets together. It was the fact that we were together that was the harm done. Just saying. So things will look differently when the paradigm changes, when we understand some of these other things. Now, some of the sexual deviancy has just got to go. This wanting to do little children and stuff, and I've talked about that. That's just not normal, period. And it's not between two consenting adults. And it's harming a bunch of people. So, that breaks that one law right to pieces. So with those things about sexuality and things, there are some things that have just, in some cultures, and I've said this before, for example, there was an African tribe, and I wish I could remember where it was, but it was on the east coast of Africa, on the Madagascar side. These tribes of thousands of natives of African descent, all right? And they're, they got grass skirts on, and the guy's got a little giblet things for his gonads, but they're basically naked. The women are topless. They've got these beautiful arrays on. They're all there for this ceremony, and nobody cares. They're all naked, or almost, and nobody's making rude remarks. They're taking cell phone pictures and movies of the thing. Nobody's acting anywhere near any kind of sexual anything. They're just there, and it just so happens that they're in very small loincloths and grass skirts and tops. None of those thousands of people were acting creepy in any way. Now, a white person going to that thing of Christian background, my God, the natives are naked, they're dancing around, doing all these savage things, when you really looked at it, there wasn't anything savage about it at all. It was the fact that the nakedness did not matter to them. Period. It just wasn't an issue. So in their culture, in their beliefs, number one, I'm naked, so is everybody else. Who cares? That in itself is like a sexual thing. Over here, oh, she didn't have clothes. Oh, the clothes she had on. Oh, my God. We don't realize that if everybody took their clothes off, like some of these other native tribes, we wouldn't be so concerned. And people, oh my God, you're one of those creepy people. And it's like, no, you're missing the point. They understand that clothes don't matter. They wear clothes because it embarrasses other people, but it doesn't embarrass them. And it's not about sexuality. Clothes have nothing, and being naked doesn't necessarily mean there is just so much, but and I've tried to explain this to other cultures, and it's like, well, I don't get it. Those are savages. They're not. They just don't look at things the way you do. They look at things more basic. So is their sexuality wrong? Oh my God, no. We need to learn from them. At least some white people I know need to learn from that. Because otherwise, this gaudiness and, and then they cared for one another. It was beautiful. It was on YouTube. It's not like this thing's hidden. So you can do a search out there. And people had cell phones. They were videotaping these events themselves. So this has not been that long ago. But the idea is that this tribalism, which some people curse to this day, oh, they're being tribal. They're a great big giant family. If you knew tribes like I knew tribes, you'd go, that's a good thing. But people who want to say tribal, they mean tribal in that everyone in that tribe is a savage. That's what they mean. But if you understand and have ever been a part of a tribe, you will understand that it's a giant family and it's really good to hang around with these folks. So, what is your belief? Again, their belief is 100%. Clothes don't matter to us. It's not a sexual thing to us. Okay? But you white people, you all got a lot to learn. Just saying. And I'm speaking for the Africans in these things, you know? So, but is sexuality wrong? And it's like, it depends on the culture. And it depends on where you are. It depends on a lot of stuff. But if you've grown up in this white Christian culture, everything's wrong. You know, I mean, you go to a Catholic church and you got to go sit in a little black box with a pedophile priest and confess your sins to him and ask for absolution before you go eat and drink the body and blood of Jesus Christ. Wonderful. You know, but these people in Africa are savages. Okay. It's a matter of opinion, matter of where you were raised and grown up to. So is your opinion wrong? Just saying. When this new paradigm comes in, when these new thoughts come in, when we understand that we're bigger than all of this other little, well, you know, and Paul said this, and women's skirts, and they had to have covering to go into the house of God. Well, the house of God is outside. And if you should wear a head covering, it's to protect your face from getting sunburned. But, you know, to make up this garbage, well, the house of God, they're taking you away from the spirit. They're stealing your spirit through religion to keep you away from touching source at all times. Oh, but it's sexually, wait a minute, maybe it is deviant. But if you and another person who have no other people to hurt are together and your act is loving and kindness between the two of you and you have your thing, what's wrong with it? That's a sin? Did you harm anybody? Well, no. And I mean, grand scheme of things, did you harm anybody? No. Were either of you harmed? No. It was kind of fun. Then what was wrong with it? Nothing. That's the point. Between two beings, whatever, as long as you don't break that one rule, there was nothing wrong with what you did. Well, yeah, but you copulated and you did and she did and you guys were twisted like a pretzel. Well, how do you know and what do you care? It was in our own privacy. It was between two consenting adults. So I threw my hip out because we try to be a pretzel. But that's my choice to tell you. But, you know, but how can you then say, well, that you committed a sin? How can I throw a rock and say, well, you two guys, you weren't married. Oh, my God. Yeah. Hang on. Wait a minute. No, you're trying to impose something that just is the societal thing. It has nothing to do with the God source. It has nothing to do with the universe. It has to do with what these 3D meat bags on this planet chose to tell us, well, that's dirty. Ooh. But yet you guys that tell me, the priest, that it was dirty, then you pedophile me and other little boys in the back room, but then you come out and preach about how dirty sex is. Seriously. So I know I went around this a lot, and I didn't mean to offend you at all. I didn't. But to the point, though, this sexual thing, it's, if you look at other cultures, it's not an issue. It never was an issue. It's white people and religion and these other beliefs that made that sexuality or made being naked or whatever and turned it into a sin. Just saying. It took me a while to realize it. But then when I did, I was like, oh, crap. They really did lie to us about this. Now, does that mean I should be free to walk into, right? There's no harm in naturalness. Being naked isn't sexual, but to some folk, Rick and Delaney, it is sexual. It's like, well, I could go into a strip bar and like, well, okay, but there are those guys who go in there and they get sexually aroused at the nakedness. The girls don't have to be dancing. They just have to be naked or scantily clothed. It's sexual to them. So to some people, it is sexual just simply to be naked. So, but I agree, it's natural. And what is going to be awakened in us is our own naturalness. Now, like I said, I wouldn't walk into town and walk through downtown naked because it's not appropriate. I got 18 acres down here in the woods. I can walk around down here on my own property, partition, there's enough trees between me and the road. Ain't nobody going to see me unless they come down the driveway, which they have. But that's another story. But to the point, though, it's like, but I'm on my own territory. I'm in my own backyard. I'm in my own place. And if I wish to be naked, that's my choice. And only folks up above me can see down. Hi, Google Earth, but to the point, is it sexual? No. I could make it sexual by being naked and doing some kind of masturbation I could be weird, but that's not my point. And if I'm not harming anyone, it's still just me, then is masturbation a sin or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Well, but anything that you do too much by yourself or whatever, it's like, well, okay, but we're not going into that. But to the point, though, let's stick with the belief. Let's just stick with the belief. How much do you believe? Isaiah ran around 3 years hollering in the Bible. Exactly. So, but we do these things. So I think you understand the point that I'm trying to make. And it's that, it's how we were raised. I mean, there were some hippie family folks that, raised their kids that, sitting around in your underwear in the evening watching TV was okay. And other people like, what? You mean your parents sat in their underwear and you watched TV together? Oh, well, my God, they should have been arrested for some kind of sexual. No, you don't get it. It was like, it was just being comfortable. It's freaking hot. And there was no sexual, you get your mind out of the gutter. So it was the people looking in going, oh my God, she's in a halter top and panties. She could have been in a 2-piece bathing suit too. It was just that the bathing suit's a little more constrained. She was but who cares? They weren't being naked. They weren't being sexual. It was hot and they didn't have air conditioning. And so they were all stripped down to their skivvies. To them, it was natural. To other people, oh my God, those parents should be arrested and thrown in jail because they're perverted. A matter of opinion, a matter of point. And you live like that? Well, I used to, and so when I bring it up to other families, they go, what? Your father sat around in his underwear and you watched a movie? Yeah, and mom was in a bra and her panties, and none of us were showing anything. But yeah, it was freaking hot back before air conditioning was invented. Back in the early 60s, Florida's freaking hot in the summertime. Yeah, we sat around in our skivvies. But it had nothing to do with any kind of sexual whatever. But somebody else looking in, oh my God, you did that? Oh my God, your parents must have been, oh, will you shut up? So I get it, I see it, but there are so many people who are so wound up about one particular thing that they can't see the rest of it. And their belief system is all chewed up. Well, I can't truly believe because you guys believe in this natural. Oh, stop it. Too many things. Go straight to the source. It's always there. It's always available. All we got to do is allow it into our lives. So in our home, nakedness is okay. I agree here too as well. But I'm by myself now. I'm more clothed now than I was years ago. But anyway, but to the point though, if somebody's like, across the hall or changing her, it's like, okay, you don't stare. Oh no, it's all about being respectful. And that's one of the things that people have lost. There isn't enough between them and them talking crazy. Look how miserable they are. Absolutely. They're all miserable because they got their whitey tidies, they've got their whitey tidies in a bundle, oh, your whitey tidies are in a bunch. Whitey tidies. I don't know if it was in this video or the one I did on Facebook, but that's what some of the low class folk would call the high uppity, higher class muckety mucks. Down here in Thomasville, there's some very rich class, and then there's the rest of us. And so, some of the joke is that right before you say, "Oh, it's a whitey tidy," meaning there's a stuck up bitch or whoever of the rest of them. So, but it's like, so whitey tidy's in a bunch. And so these whitey tidy individual folks who are so righteous and everything, they're the ones that they're having more problems than the rest of us who are living a more natural life. Okay, just put it in a simple term. So whitey tidies, yes, whitey tidies. And it's not, and it has to do with women who wear it was the old days. It had to be the cotton white undies, and they were white and they were tidy. So anyone who of that ilk, of that, I'm so good that my whitey tidies. So that's where this us poor folk called the rich assholes. Yeah, basically. Ooh, look, there's the whitey tidy. And the people would look at us and go, well, I don't know what he means by that, snobby. And we just go, yep, you're whitey tidy, all right, because you don't get it. But to the point though, so that was our way of actually it was kind of mean if you get right down to it. But it was a nice way of calling them, snobbish, uptight, rich assholes, whitey tidy. It's a lot more nicer, but there was a whole lot to the explanation. So, Rick Delaney, much love to you guys. I got a butt cramp, and I'm out of coffee and something to drink, and I think it's time to eat the rest of my supper. So at 3:13 in the morning. So God bless all of you, Creator, and for my closing prayers, I always do. From my soul, heart, and my whole heart, soul to yours. I wish that all of you will accept and receive with 100% the healings and the blessings from the universe. And that source is always there and is always available. We are always in contact with the quantum. We are always in contact with the spirit. We just have to believe it 100%. So, Quartz, Rick Delaney, later, dude. Much love, quantum. Peace to you. Peace to all of you who may watch this later on. Keep it between the ditches, as I love to say. God love you, Spirit, Creator, all of the above. Be safe, be kind, and be